So, small business Chapter 7 bankruptcies have been on the rise for the last 5 or so years, since 2008, when the market took its downturn and took a lot of small business owners by surprise. Before the downturn, it's not that they didn't carry debt, it's that they would make enough income to service their debt, but when they lose those clients and they have some outstanding debt, what do you do then? What happens to your business? Chapter 7 corporate bankruptcies are very different than they're different than a Chapter 7 personal bankruptcy. When a business is filing bankruptcy, that business must be represented by an attorney. In a personal bankruptcy, any individual can represent themselves, but corporations, there is no person. It is a figurative word. So a corporation cannot walk in and say, I represent myself, because there is no something to walk in. If a business owner walks in and says, I'm representing the corporation, and they're not an attorney, it's somebody practicing law without a license. So the corporation must be represented. Also, in a business Chapter 7, the business doesn't receive a discharge at the end of the case. Personal Chapter 7, the person receives a discharge, those creditors can no longer collect from that business. In a business Chapter 7, there is no discharge. But after the Chapter 7, the business is shut down, there's nothing to collect from. So if the creditor wants to continue to call that business number, that's fine. There's nothing there. There's no business. There's no assets. So let them call. In a business Chapter 7, the only reason a small business should file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is if that business has assets. The whole purpose in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is to liquidate assets. So if a business has no assets, if it's got this debt, it's just a service-based industry with absolutely no assets, there's no reason for it to file a business Chapter 7 because there's no assets to liquidate. It would just dissolve the business, notify the creditors, we have no assets, we have no money, we are closing down this business. So if the business has assets, the business files the business bankruptcy. A trustee is assigned, and a trustee in the Chapter 7 case, their job is to liquidate assets, sell them. The trustee would sell its assets and then use the money to pay the creditors. Well, that sounds like something a business owner can do themselves. The reasons not to do it yourself are, part of it's that you're emotionally involved in business, or the person is emotionally involved in the business. If someone liquidates their own assets, for one thing, they're probably going to not liquidate them quickly. They're going to say, hey, I paid this much for this product, it should be sold at whatever value. Well, when we're looking at liquidating assets, we don't usually get the fair market value. We're trying to sell them quickly, get these creditors paid off. Also, a business owner will probably choose to pay certain creditors over other creditors. If the business owner has a line of credit with their parents and a line of credit with the bank, they're probably going to pay their parents over paying the bank. Well, if the bank finds out, they're going to be very upset. So in a bankruptcy, the owner kind of steps out, the trustee steps in, does the liquidation of assets, and spreads the money that they get from the assets between the creditors. The creditors may not get all of the money that is owed to them, but they get a fair share. The amount that they get is based on the amount that's owed to them. How do we know how much the creditors owe them? Well, when someone files bankruptcy, they have usually a guesstimate, a good guess on, I owe this person, $100,000 or $10,000. So we use these guesstimates on the schedules. When the case is filed, the creditor has to file a claim saying this is how much you actually owe. The claim has to include the basis of it. Like usually it's a contract claim, whether it's a credit card or a lease sign, but the basis has to be disclosed in the claim. And then they get paid from there. If the trustee liquidates all the assets, pays all the creditors, the trustee gets their own fee. If there's any money left over, that does go back to the business owner. More than likely, there will be no money left over. As I have been talking about, I am currently representing Party City, not really Party City, but Party City, we finally got their bankruptcy filed yesterday. We were planning on doing it last week, but he had to wrap up some things with the business. Party City, the big reason we're filing a business Chapter 7 for this company is that they have all the inventory in their store currently. They've been running the store, the business owner has been putting money into the business each month. So the business is not going to make it unless he continues to supplement it, and he's just throwing money at a business right now. But he has all this inventory in the store. He has all the fixtures, all the shelving, all the cash registers, computers, desk, total amount of assets came to, I think, about $250,000, according to the business owner. When it's liquidated, they probably will not receive $250,000 worth of money because the product in the store will be sold at less than fair market value. But he had over $300,000 of debt with this business. A lot of it was credit cards. The lease that he's having to break is one of the largest debts. So these creditors will file a claim once the assets are liquidated, and the trustee will pay the money that they've received from this liquidation. Unfortunately, in this case, the business owner is personally signed on a lot of these debts. So our goal here is to reduce the debts as much as possible through the business bankruptcy. Hopefully the creditors will get, a good portion of it, and then after the business bankruptcy, we can reevaluate the individual, the business owner situation, figure out whether a personal bankruptcy is best for him, or if we can do some sort of debt settlement. Like I said, if you know of any business owners that are struggling, unfortunately this economy has hurt a lot of small businesses. So if you know of any of them, please give them that sheet. If that doesn't help them, if they need more help, give them my name and number. There is no fee for the initial consultation. I meet with a lot of clients that bankruptcy is not their best option, and I will tell them that. I think doing what's best for them is going to help my business grow because they will refer me somebody else because they like what I've said. So please give me my name and number. Thank you.